Hey there, Miranda Wilson here with another lesson idea to go along with our adapted articles. Our goal is to highlight and explain some of the additional resources we've curated to help with your lesson planning. Today, we'll focus on the article, Why Can Some Monkeys Live High in the Mountains? This article is by Kenneth Chu and his colleagues. Geladas, a type of monkey that lives in Ethiopia, are known to live at much higher altitudes than other monkeys. Kenneth and his team took blood and tissue samples from geladas in different parts of Ethiopia and discovered several interesting things. First, they found that northern populations of geladas, the ones living high up in the mountains, had an extra chromosome. They could still mate with individuals from central and southern populations in zoos, but they don't mate in the wild. This could be the beginnings of a speciation event in Ethiopian geladas. Second, they found that geladas living at high altitude have the same amount of hemoglobin as other geladas, so they don't transport more oxygen in their blood to compensate for altitude. And third, they did find that geladas have greater chest circumferences relative to their size than 5 other baboon species. This could mean that geladas have larger lungs to take in more oxygen as an adaptation to living at high altitude. This article is written for all levels of high school students and would be a great component of lessons about genetics, physiology, and evolution. We know that sometimes students can find reading articles, even adapted ones, a bit tedious. So we've curated links to some additional resources that could round out your lesson plans with experiments and hands-on activities. The first resource we'd recommend is a case study looking at altitude adaptation in humans. We'd recommend it for classes that are covering human physiology or for an AP Biology class. This is a National Science Teachers Association resource, a previous Buffalo case study. Just so you're aware, you can access a certain number of resources on the NSTA's website for free without being a member, but after that, they'll restrict your access. The case study walks students through a medical emergency at 17,000 feet and asks them to analyze the situation. Students will likely need outside resources to research answers to the questions. Many adaptations for living at high altitude involve the ability of blood to carry more oxygen. This article about geladas is a cool example of a different type of adaptation, but that doesn't mean that blood isn't super cool. Check out the America's Blood Center's curriculum titled My Blood, Your Blood. This is curriculum for both middle and high school classrooms. Many of the lessons are hands-on activities or experiments, and most include some kind of demonstration for teachers to set up. Check out the lesson on oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange for a demonstration and lab looking at the ability of red blood cells to bind both oxygen and carbon dioxide. Each lesson includes student worksheets and answers to lab questions. If you're just starting to cover genetics or have an introductory class, you might want to check out the Learn Genetics website, hosted by the University of Utah. They have short articles, videos, interactive models, and activities for students to do, and none of them take too long. The topics range from basic genetics to chromosomes, genes, and mutations, to RNA and proteins. The short activity called Make a Karyotype has students try their hand at creating a karyotype or a map of chromosomes, just like the researchers did for this article. Hopefully your students enjoy these short little activities and snippets of information. We saved the best for last. If you'd like a great activity about speciation, we'd highly recommend checking out the HHMI Bio Interactive Lizard Evolution Virtual Lab. I know virtual labs can get a bad rap, but this is one of the best ones I've done with my introductory biology classes. My students have always had really positive feedback about the assignment. There are 4 modules that contain short videos for students to watch, information to read, data for students to actually measure and sort through, and short quizzes. The activity covers a range of evolutionary topics like ecomorphs, phylogenetic trees, common ancestors, convergent evolution, and reproductive isolation. There is a student worksheet available from HHMI that does a great job walking students through the modules with thoughtful questions. There's also a Google folder link on the website with the worksheet as a Google Doc so that you can share with your students. Don't forget to take a look at our videos at the bottom of the article page when you're planning your class time. For each adapted article, we provide an audio version of the article being read for those students who might need some extra help with their reading skills. You can access our audio versions on the web page for each adapted article or on the Science Journal for Kids YouTube channel. There's also always a video meant to introduce the topic of the article to your students. In this case, there are 2 short videos. The first is 2 minutes from National Geographic that shows what a day in the life of a gelada is like. The second is a 6-minute video about how people have adapted to altitude by the SciShow. That's all for today. If you'd like more teaching tips and ideas for lesson planning, please check out the audio or video versions of our Lesson Ideas podcast. Also, make sure to check out our Ask a Scientist videos for short interviews with some of our researchers. You can find them on our YouTube channel. If you have questions or comments, please share them in the feedback form on our website. You can also sign up for our free monthly newsletter to learn about our latest content. And as always, please visit our website, sciencejournalforkids.org, for more free science teaching resources.